Hi guys, Josh from Station Way back again here at IAAPA 2022. I am in the RMC booth with Scott. Scott is a designer for RMC. Tell them what your job entails, Scott.
All right, well, I'm a designer, mostly work with the structure, so I'm detailing out all the parts and pieces, essentially between the track and the foundation, make all the fab shop drawings for those parts, and then detail out all the install and construction drawings. And that's pretty much the majority of what I do. I'm just in AutoCAD all day drawing.
Excellent. So I have some questions for you, obviously, that's why we have an interview. First of all, I see your 208 retracts over there. Yep. Can you tell me a bit, I feel like that kind of slid under the radar for you guys. Obviously you're known for your iBox and your Raptor. Can you tell me the use case for that, the structural stuff, all that kind of stuff?
Sure. So it's really similar to our iBox track. We're making it out of a weathering steel, so we don't necessarily have to coat it. So that's one advantage, saves some of the cost on the coating of the track. But we're just using the 208 track to retrack old wood rides. So we wouldn't be doing any new maneuvers. It would be the same ride profile, but with a steel track.
So say a park calls you up and they say, this rough old coaster, we can't afford an iBox. You say, we have 208 we can throw on there, increase your lifespan for a lower price.
Exactly, it helped them out a lot on the maintenance, smooth out the ride. And we're even able to look at some of the banking and stuff when we redo the ride. Say there's an area that's got high guide wheel loading, we're able to change the banking a little bit and kind of smooth out some of that stuff so that we're loading the road wheel and hopefully make a better ride experience. But the intent is just to keep the same ride profile.
Cool. So you said you do a lot of structural stuff and analysis. When it comes to a park calls you and they say Hershey Park, for example, wonderful train here, they call you, obviously the original hill was smaller, and so you guys went to a truss. How do you decide, like Iron Gwazi, I heard at one point you were considering adding, you just went with a truss, or like Steel Vengeance obviously added a lot of height that's not a truss. So how do you kind of come up with that? Is it what the park wants? Is it what you guys have to do?
So there's a few things, a few factors to consider there. If we were building that out of wood at that height, the wind loading is the largest consideration. So it governs all of the design. And when you're that tall, that wood structure has to get really wide to accommodate that. If you go to a steel structure, it's less of a sail. You have a lot more voids and in this truss, so the loading is a little bit less. There isn't as much surface area for the wind. And really for us, from a fabrication standpoint, it's so easy. These trusses are actually really simple, all the details on them. And they're great for compact, small footprints. We can get you up high real quick, whereas I think we were at 45 degrees on these truss lift hills.
Yeah.
So that's advantageous on some of these smaller sites.
Okay, a couple smaller questions. Do you know why Steel Vengeance's anti-rollback is so dang loud? I plugged my ears on that.
Steel on steel. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. We've taken a couple measures to quiet that down, and I'm not sure what's been installed on that one.
Okay.
But we do have a pad on the inside of the ARB where it's hitting the train, so that softens the noise a little bit. We've added some. UHMW along the ARB on the lift hill, so it's hitting that instead of the steel, which has helped dampening it. And we are actually looking into developing a silent ARB, something that would hold the ARB up unless it was in a rollback situation. So.
One of the other manufacturers does that, so yeah,
they
that's
do
cool.
exist. Yep.
Yes. So you have two big projects next year with Wildcat's Revenge and Air Force One. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Air Force One has been in development for a while, whereas Wildcat's Revenge track just started going up this week. What, from an engineering and design perspective, out of those two, what was the most complicated part, like maneuver or element or anything out of those two coasters?
Between Wildcat's Revenge and which one?
Air Force One at
Air Force One. It's hard. We're not too far into the install on the Wildcat yet, but I am excited for the underflip on Wildcat. So looking forward to that one. But I really like the element that's going over the arcade, Air Force One. We cut it really tight, and I mean it's right there. So I'm really excited to see how that element feels going over the roof and being turned upside down and having it right there.
I'll tell you. I'm excited for the Raven Trust Dive on Air Force One. I saw the official POV and I was like, what's the clearance? Like, it's so tight on that with the structure and stuff. That impressed me. So you guys did great.
Thank you.
So obviously this train is gorgeous, as we already covered. And there's going to be 3 custom trains. So do you guys, when you make your trains, do you have like the base structure and then you just aesthetically change them? I know obviously these are your Gen 2 trains they came out with Steel Vengeance and Twisted Timbers in 2018. Have you guys had to modify that at all, or are you still on the Gen 2?
Still on the Gen 2. It's our steering axle train. We have, I guess, customizable kind of components. The side panels for the trains can always be themed and designed. There's definitely some room to work there. The pad colors, the seat colors, the paint on the chassis, that color can be chosen. And then obviously we'll work with them for developing a lead axle. We basically give them an envelope for this cowling and say you can basically do whatever you want inside of that envelope. So they come back to us with their idea for the theme, and if everything looks like it's capable of being manufactured, and we give them the thumbs up and go from there.
You make these in-house, right?
Yes, we do.
Do you design all the elements in-house, or do you have to contract out for like this cat, for example?
So the actual fiberglass work is done by a company it's close to us in Hayden. So we do contract that out. Okay. They'll do the mold and the fiberglass, and then all the detail painting and the coating on it, is done by somebody else.
Okay, 2 more quick questions for you. Firstly, can you say anything about single rail over 300 feet, T-Rex or a Raptor or anything?
We would like one. I'm sure a lot of people would. We'll see what happens. We're still looking for the right interest for the T-Rex track. I think if the right client comes along and the project fits, we'll definitely develop that.
So that's on the park side to come to you? Like you guys are ready to push with that?
We have the concept, and it's possible we might move forward with development, but having someone who's actually interested in it would definitely fuel that development. As for the Raptor, lots of people are interested in the Raptor. They want to do all sorts of crazy things. We'll see what actually happens, but very possible that there's some new Raptor iterations in the near future,
Okay, last question, 2-part question. Firstly, what are your top 3 favorite RMC coasters at the moment?
I'm a fan of the style that's like the Wicked Cyclone or Joker. I think with the speed being down, the elements are so close together. I really like the pacing of those rides, so those are my favorite. I mean, it's hard not to like Steel Vengeance. It's hard not to like Gwazi. They're fast, they're intense, they're wild rides. So
that's kind of the vibe I get from this one, actually. It's kind of a mix between those two, where it's smaller footprint, but still has that whippiness of like a Steel Vengeance.
I think it's going to be similar feeling, yep.
I'm really interested.
Absolutely.
And last question, if you could take any wooden roller coaster and get the call tomorrow and say, we're doing it, which one would you want to throw some track on?
I don't know wooden roller coasters very well, but it seems that everybody would really like to see Beast or...
That'd be controversial, I can tell you that.
What's the one that's saying the Boss? I feel like the Boss and the Beast I hear a lot. If it were up to us, we'd just do them both. But
I was a fan of Predator at Darien Lake, but Six Flags wasn't going to spend that kind of money. But perfect. Well, thank you, Scott.
Hey, absolutely.
Thank you very much. And that's it, everybody. Say hi to Scott if you ever see him.
Take care, guys.